Welcome to Off the Couch YouTube channel, where we help you practice the skills needed to make your therapy experiences stick for a lifetime, where we encourage you to get outside and live life creatively. I am your host, Troy Faddis, licensed marriage and family therapist. Hello, this is Troy Faddis, and I work as a therapist in private practice and at a residential treatment center, and I'm being joined by Dr. Maddie Libby, and we're going to talk about Dr. Siegel's 4 S's of parenting. Let me introduce you to Maddie.
Hi.
So Dr. Siegel talks about how we have these 4 human instinct needs that help us formulate the basis for a secure attachment. And that when parents can help foster these 4 things, that our children will have the most secure attachments and be able to explore the world more safely, especially in an unsafe world. And the first of those 4 is that they need to be seen, and not just seen physically, but perceived. What Dr. Siegel calls Mindsight, what's behind the actions, what's behind the intentions that they give us. So us not reacting to them necessarily, but being able to understand them.
My experience in working with adolescents and young adults is this is one of the things that they tend to complain about the most, is that you just don't see me. And it isn't that we don't see them or see their behaviors, it's that we react to the surface responses that they give in a given situation, and we don't really see what's going on underneath that. And so slowing down and developing, relationship and being able to actually kind of see what's really going on, and then reflecting that, say, this is what I'm seeing, is this what's really going on? It gives them a chance to be able to correct what your first impressions, and get to be able to a place where they can actually feel like they're being seen for who they really are.
Thank you. I do hear that a lot as well. I think that the need to be seen is becoming more and more of an issue for those that we work with, especially young adults, because they're trying to have a differentiation. As much as they want to differentiate, they still want to be seen by their parents.
Mm-hmm.
The second is safe. We all, on a primitive level, we avoid being hurt. We're hardwired to protect ourselves. And, it's like our basic instincts that if our body has a startle response, like our lungs constrict or our pit of our stomach tightens, then that sends it right up, and we're more in our primitive brain than we are in our cortex. And I think we're constantly battling, trying to have the control from our cortex or from our midbrain to our cortex, and trying to reclassify things as whether they're safe or they're not. And as parents, I think we have a lot to do to help our kids feel like the things that they're experiencing in life aren't a threat, that they can feel safe when they recognize that we feel safe.
And I think that one of the best ways for parents to help their children to feel safe is consistency. If you go to the far end of the negative spectrum, folks who struggle with addiction or with, abuse, what happens is the child never knows which parent they're going to get, and so they become hypervigilant and have to disconnect in order to be able to stand even being there, sometimes dissociating in the more extreme cases. But for parents who are on the other end of the spectrum, who are, consistent and strong parents, it's that the child needs to know every time that he or she talks to you that you're going to be the same person. And things that affect your lives, like conflict at work or a problem with the spouse or those kinds of things, need to be modulated so that they are not brought into the relationship with the child, and that you can be consistent with them, and they know that they can always get what they anticipate getting in that safety and consistency with you.
That's wonderful insight. I appreciate that, Maddie.
Sure.
The third is Soothe, that we as parents can do a lot to help our children deal with difficult emotions, with difficult situations. The world we live in, especially right now, it can be scary and it can be harsh and it definitely is not fair. And so when they're hurt, whether it's physically or just from their ego perspective, they are perceiving things as being hurtful. We can do a lot to give them the comfort that they need. And as they're comforted emotionally, it becomes less difficult and it can become less traumatic. So our ability to soothe and respond to our children, I think, has a lot to do with how they experience things as being hard, or they experience those same things as being growth.
And I think one of the things to help them understand is that emotions don't last forever. I think sometimes we feel like when we're really sad or we're really angry or we're really disturbed that we're just going to have to live there, and it's not ever going to change. But humans are not built that way. Emotions come in waves, and I think the peak of those emotions usually lasts no more than 90 to 120 seconds until it comes back down a little bit. And so that we can then more self-regulate, and then, if it comes back up again, then you just deal with that. But to help them understand that this is not going to last forever. And when they're feeling extreme emotions, to be willing to just sit with them and be with them and really acknowledge that this is a real emotion. This is something that's difficult that they're dealing with, and that you want to be there with them, even though you can't take it away and you can't feel the emotions for them, but you can sit with them and let them know that this is going to be all right, and just give it some time and things will begin to pass. But not at the same time minimizing those and saying, oh, that's not a big deal, just buck up. But to actually let the flow of that emotion happen while you're with them and soothing them in that process.
Yeah. All emotions are valid and they're important. Yeah. And they need to be temporary.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes the things that are most difficult is when our emotions get stuck.
Yeah, we need to see it more as a flow of the river, and that, just watch it and notice it and let it go, on down the river.
Yeah. Actually, in some future videos, I hope to do some videos about meditation. And one of the first times I ever connected with meditation was on a river, fly fishing, and being able to watch your fly, putting it upstream and letting it float downstream, and watching that fly come and watching that fly go. I think it's one of the best meditations I've ever done for recognizing feelings, letting them be present, and letting them also move. The last S is secure. That, each of us need to have a sense of someone has our back, somebody sees the pain I'm in and is able to respond to that. And the more security we have, especially with our primary figures, it gives us not an internalized sense of being, but it also gives us the safety to go out and explore our world, especially when our world is dangerous. But we can go out there with some sense of security.
Yeah, I like to think about it as the parent, being the person who's flying a kite and the child be the kite, because the kite can't fly unless someone's holding the string to give them that foundation. But then within that boundary, they have immense freedom to be able to explore, knowing that they're grounded and that someone like Troy said has their back, and it creates a foundation of security for them. And with that security, then they can explore and try new things and discover more things about themselves and about the world in the process. But it's like ranging out from that secure base.
Thank you. Man, I really appreciate you joining us today. And I hope that you've all found this video to be helpful. And I encourage you to pick one of the S's and practice it, and check in with your child and see how they feel. They feel seen, if they feel safe, if they feel soothed in the conversations they have with you, and if they feel secure. And my encouragement to you is that when you do have those conversations, or my litmus test would be to see if doing these things does not give you a greater sense of attachment with you and your child, or with you and your partner. Maddie, thanks again so much.
You're welcome.